norming process for any psychological test, and particularly an intelligence test, is crucial, extremely important, and is frequently not well understood by psychologists who are giving tests. The idea of a norming sample is that if you're comparing a person in Indonesia to other people of the same age in Indonesia, you want to be comparing them to what's typical in Indonesia. You don't want to be comparing that person or that child to somebody in the United States. And it's my understanding that in Indonesia, since we've not had a comprehensive nationally normed test of intelligence, Indonesia has been borrowing, and it's the only way they could do things for a while, borrowing some tests from the United States, and some of them are 40 to 60 years out of date now. And they're using test scores on children here in Indonesia based upon how the average was in a different country over 40 to maybe 60 years old before. And that doesn't give you good information. The value of an intelligence test is that it needs to be based on a snapshot of your country, not somebody else's country, and especially not a country many years ago. So the AJT is going to have the best up-to-date, contemporary, nationally representative norms of Indonesia. And I think the important point is it was developed in Indonesia by Indonesians, trial tested on children in Indonesia, and the comparison point that when a person takes this test and the scores are put together are compared to a nationally representative sample of children in Indonesia. And maybe the second point is there are a lot of times tests are developed that are based on very small samples, like 100 or 200 people that somebody gets. They just get these people together, but they're not representative of the entire country. You want a sample that is large, and the AJT sample is 4,800 subjects approximately, and is intended to be a snapshot of how people and children are performing in Indonesia. So when somebody's compared against that reference point, we have a very accurate comparison, and we know how they're doing within this country. And the important thing about the norming is that there are prescribed procedures and methods for how you do a nationally representative sample, like here in Indonesia, and they're spelled out in the Joint Test Standards, which have been around since 1966, and we're on our 5th edition now. And they are the gold standards, or the world gold standards, about how you should develop a test, and it prescribes what you should do and what you should document and what you should provide to demonstrate that the nationally normed sample for a test is a solid sample. So the AJT test norms are going to be based on the current gold standards, which we call the Joint Test Standards, and as far as I know, it will be the only intelligence test in Indonesia for children that meets those gold standards.